Ponyo, Ponyo, fishy of the sea. I don't know the rest. I just knew that part. It played at the end of the movie. So I will have to just go with that quick snippet. Hello and welcome to the Yes Year podcast. We welcome all listeners, new and old, to come, sit down, have a listen to our madness and ramblings. So as recently discussed, we are really trying to jump all over the place in genre and timeline. So this week we decided to go with a fan favorite, Ponyo. Am I saying that right? Ponyo? Okay. Now here's a spoiler alert. Until watching this for a podcast, I had never seen this movie. I've seen movies of the type but I've never seen Ponyo. Ponyo, dang it. As a kid, we used to watch Unico. Which is kind of like this, but not really. But Beth says that we have a ban on watching those movies, and we're not watching those. I always enjoyed movies where they have the round mouth animation. You know what I mean? Like when they talk and their mouths get all round, like Unico, or like Speed Racer, their mouths would be all round when they talk, and even the Pikachu meme, like when he's all and his mouth is all round. I just find them really funny. So I usually ask you...
That's probably due to low production money. Because that's frames. It's easier to just do the mouth like that than frame out when you make people talk.
Yeah.
So it saves money. That's probably why they did that.
Yeah, but I like it. I'm simple. I always ask you what's your impression of it, but this is actually a kind of your pick.
Yeah, I've seen this movie multiple times.
So,
I didn't know that it was 2008, though.
Yeah. I thought it was older, too. I mean, did you think it was older?
I thought it was older.
Yeah, I thought it was more of like a... Geez, I'd even give it 90s because of the Howl's Moving Castle, I think is what it's called, and Spirited Away. All those just seem like they came out a long time ago to me.
It looks like older animation.
Yeah, but I guess it's actually what they used for this, is that they used that style purposely, mm-hmm. which I think is cool. I actually like that. I think it gives me a nostalgic feeling for a movie that is newer, but it still gives me an older feeling. So, I did watch the trailer again. I had seen it a couple years back on something. I don't remember what it was, but I watched it again and I enjoyed it. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm excited about watching this. And it was hard. I realized that taking notes on movies that I've seen is a lot easier, obviously, because I kind of have an expectation. I know what's coming, like when we did The Craft and when we did Better Off Dead. I kind of know the scenes that are coming, so I don't have to look up and down as much. With this, I was so into it that I had to keep pausing a couple times so that I could catch up on notes, because I was like, oh, heck, this is a really good movie.
That's why all my stuff's really simplistic.
Yeah. Notes-wise, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can't. Sometimes I really do get pulled in the movie, and then, I'll look down on my notes, and a whole half of the movie's gone by, and I'm like, oh, God, I gotta type something really fast. I'm like, girl went to the movie.
I was just really surprised at how interesting it was. I expected it to be good, but I only have one bit of a gripe, and we'll talk about that later. So, Ponyo is an animated adventure comedy released in America August 14th, 2008. And I say in America because, of course, it was released in Japan first, and I believe it came out in June in Japan. So there's a little bit of a time gap on there. The movie's about a 5-year-old boy that develops a relationship with a goldfish princess who wants to become human after falling in love with him. Which, that right there, you've got me. A goldfish that loves a boy. That's great. And I also like that it's the human-faced goldfish. Like when I saw it, I was like, it's creepy. For the American dubbed version, you have actors such as Cate Blanchett, Matt Damon, Tina Fey, Liam Neeson, and Noah Cyrus acting in it. I've always wanted to do animation and voice work. I think
there's a website that you can sign up for, and you can actually just put your voice out there.
Yeah.
It takes you can sign up for free, and you just do little things.
Well, I think it would be fun to do and something cool to do. I just don't know that I have the voice for it.
You never
So-
think you do until somebody hears it. It's like, yeah, that's the one I want.
And they're like, oh, that's it?
yeah.
Oh, I'll
I
have
think
to
about
check
that a
that
lot
out.
because you can do a bunch of like my voice range is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But what I would worry about with doing voice acting is your voice hurting after a certain period of time because I get really worn out. Like if I do like some I can do a really good like growling voice
Yeah.
and like just weird noises like that.
I see.
But it hurts my throat really bad the next day.
Right. So you'd be like the whole time, and then
Yeah.
the next day you can't talk.
What if you like voice act a dog or a demon thing for like a new cute little film? Because I mean they're coming out with like, you know, you have a bunch of little baby kid shows which they always need voice actors for.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of little cartoons like Cartoon Network or if you get lucky Adult Swim.
Yeah.
So
The Golden Chalice.
I mean you just got to work your way up.
I
That'd
would-
be cool.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, it's a website I actually saw it come up on my feed a little while back, and it's like you make mad bank from it.
Really?
It's like up to $2,000 for like just one little thing.
That would be so cool, man. I would love to do something like that.
Yeah, and I mean you have to have the equipment for it. And look.
Which we kind of do
Yeah.
now. You know, and I think that when I looked into it before, like a long time ago, like that's what they wanted. They wanted like a professional recording that you had to do of yourself. And I think that's what kind of turned me off. It was just like, man, I don't have anything like that.
Yeah.
Now I kind of do. Well, look at there. Full circles. Nice.
Well, if you're watching TV one day and you hear familiar voices, let us know.
Yeah. Email us and let us know if it's on.
I want to play a llama.
A llama.
Yeah.
In a llama TV show.
I want it to be just like a normal cartoon show, and then one episode they have a llama there, and they're like, "What the hell is this llama doing?" And I'm all, and that's it.
You just make that noise.
Yep, you should have to recognize that.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
I mean, it'd be cool to play in your voice in like a movie,
Yeah,
and then be like,
that's me.
"Hey, this sounds a lot like you." Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I always sometimes when you see who plays in certain things, you're like, oh, that's that person. Oh man, that doesn't sound anything like them. They like Dobby, the guy that did Dobby's voice in Harry Potter and such like that. I know the actor. I've seen the actor on like TV shows and in movies. He played in. Did you watch like all the Captain Americas? Did you watch all those?
Nope.
Or just the Civil Wars ones and all those? The Spider-Man.
Just Spider-Man.
I gotcha. But he played in one of the American. One of the Captain Americas, and he played on a TV show that your mom and I watched. But then to hear his, I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. And then the guy who played Smeagol or Gollum actually looks like Smeagol and Gollum. So I always think of like when you really learn characters like that. I know that they're not.
I don't like finding out information like that. Like when you like the My Little Ponies.
Yeah.
Did you know the same voice actor voices like most of those? I was like, what the hell? And then Spike's voice actor is a girl. And
I
you
didn't
sit
know.
there and you're like, I have this information.
I don't know. It always throws me off when you hear a voice and it's like the same voice. Like, what's a good one? Who's the dark girl that's on Teen Titans?
Raven?
Raven.
Yeah.
The lady that does Raven's voice does a lot of other voice acting. And you hear her voice and you're like, oh, that's her. That's this person. That's that person. And that can sometimes, I think that happened on Regular Show a couple times because those people just make the rounds.
Yeah. The Cars movie, I actually found this out recently. Disney Pixar. One of the cars, they had like a scene where they were all at the movies watching like car versions of their other movies, like Toy Story or something, but they were cars.
Nice.
And he made comments about the voices of some of the characters in the other movies that he played. So he was like, oh, that guy sounds pretty good. It was like, oh, this is the same guy. He must make the rounds. They must use him a lot. So it's just like funny little Easter eggs
I
like
gotcha. That's funny.
I mean, but if you have a good voice actor, you like his voice, why not reuse him?
Right. And then just like acting,
Yeah.
I mean, if people recognize the actor in the movie, they're like, oh, I like that actor. So if they like the voice, then is it the same thing? We're like, oh, I like that voice, then I'll I'll listen to it. The movie had a budget of $34 million, which I thought was pretty crazy high. But then I thought, well, it's animation, so I'm sure, and it's like hand animation. It's not even computer.
That's why it's a thing. I mean, all water droplets and everything they added too. Like, it's gonna take a long time.
Yeah, and I really watched that. Let me finish this before I go on with that. It ended up with a cumulative worldwide gross of $204 million. So financially, an actual crush. It crushed it. I was watching. Like when they came out of the water and they were standing for a certain amount of time, the ground actually would, like, you could see it soaking up the water, like getting wet underneath their feet as if it was, and I thought, wow, the attention to detail on this is so crazy good.
Yeah.
Somebody had to animate that, and they did. And I was just really impressed overall with the animation and the story and everything. Like I said, there was only one thing which I'll talk about that I'm kind of miffed with, but other than that, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it when
I'm just curious as what it is.
Well, I mean, we can talk about it now then. It's the ending.
Yeah.
I guess I just kind of expected more. Mm-hmm. They kind of build it up and they're like, oh, this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other. And then all of a sudden, the guy who you think is trying to destroy the world is helping, and he's saving everything, and then there's not like a real big. I guess I'm just used to like a climax of in a movie or whatever, and that didn't really happen. He just, like, I guess the old woman getting washed into the water and getting dragged down to the bubble with Sosuke and everything was kind of the climax, but it wasn't climactic. Like, he didn't have to really make a hard choice, and they kept saying, "Oh, is he going to be able to make the choice?" Well, he talked to her, and will you love her? And she's like, I'll love all the Ponyos, and that's it. And then they come up to the top, and then everybody's there, and then she kisses him, and then that's it. And I just, that was my only gripe. I thought there would be more of a climax. So, and I think that it's just the filming style is different than what.
For me, how the movie goes, after watching it so many times, I think it's more of that it wasn't supposed to be such a big boom kind of movie. Uh-huh. It's very soft. I mean, you have it's the parallels between the fact that it's a softer looking movie. It's like you said, it feels older, but it's not.
Right.
And what's actually happening, and you have a girl who can turn human from a fish. I mean, you think everyone would be freaking out a little bit more,
right?
And then at the end, the mom's gonna adopt her and raise her. I mean,
right.
So it's kind of like, okay, in that sense, but after watching it a couple times, you kind of understand, I guess, to a degree, why there isn't a big climax. I mean, you have the dad talk to the mom about the humans and everything, because he hates them.
Right.
And she's like,
I used to be one.
Yeah, she's like, no, come on, listen. And then you have where everything's flooding. Yeah. He's trying to get back to his mom. He's like, he wants to just see his mom. He's got the old lady who's like, no, he is a trickster. Do not go with him. So this entire time, that's what he's believed.
Right.
So he follows her, and then he gets dragged down into the sea without like what he wants. Talks to the big mom, and she's all like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I love all the Ponyos. I mean, so it's kind of just like, he doesn't really get a choice to have that climax.
Right.
I mean, but again, they're like 8-year-olds. 5-year-olds. So it's like, there's like an understanding.
I got you.
Sort of.
So for them, this is...
It's almost like the movie talked the plot, like the climax out. Because the climax would have been him not choosing Ponyo, and then this restoration of the balance or whatever being out.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And so they really needed that to happen. So the dad just dragged him down to talk to the mom because they were wasting time with the whole moon thing.
Yeah, the moon was really close.
So
like, right there. All right. Well, that was it. That's my... That's not the podcast. That's
my gripe is actually what the mom's supposed to do now with the extra child.
I like that she accepted her.
Well, yeah, but that's a whole other income.
Even seeing this. I like where you're at with it.
Yeah. That's what I always thought about.
It's tax credit.
And it's going to be hard. I mean, you got to raise them both.
Yeah. Well, she takes it on, though. She takes it in stride.
Throw you back into the sea. I didn't understand why she couldn't stay with her parents. Like why she can't see her dad ever again? Ponyo?
I think I don't know. I don't know how that works. He's going to go off
he didn't
and
even
be
say
back.
Goodbye.
No, he's just going to go back and do his thing, and she's there, and she's a human now, so dubs. I don't know. That's later. We haven't even started the movie.
Yeah.
So, you want to go ahead and start it?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So the movie starts on the water and then goes under the sea with the jellyfish and other sea life. We see a guy on a boat underwater in a bubble.
Who looks like David Bowie.
Yes.
To me.
He's dripping stuff in the water and making it all glowy. As he does this, these little human head fish sneak out of a window and then quickly go back in with the guy looks towards him. I think she comes out and eats something and then dips back in with all these little... I thought it was really funny that there were a big one and then a whole bunch of other little ones. Just made me laugh really hard. The biggest one gives a kiss on one of the little ones and swims off under the cover of a jellyfish. It reaches the sunlight and looks pleased as it basks in the sun. We then get the beginning, as it says, and some crazy cool animation.
It's very cute with acknowledgement screen.
When it said the beginning?
Well, yeah, it starts talking about all the other people involved.
Yeah.
That was a little cute.
Yeah, I thought it was really neat. And some really fancy opera singing.
Yeah.
While the credits roll. The fish looks to have fallen asleep on the jellyfish, which is pretty much on par for Ponyo. As is taken to the surface by a small house. The fish sees a boy coming out to play with a boat and is curious.
Well, what about when the net comes?
That's what I'm about to get to.
Oh gosh, that didn't happen.
Yeah,
yet?
first she comes up and looks.
To the house.
Then she comes down. It brings it when she gets stuck in the jar. Not too soon after that, the fish gets trapped by a boat dragging a net, but is able to escape. However, it is stuck in a jar. The boy sees the fish is in the jar and goes and saves it, which he's like blah blah blah.
Yeah, it made me sad. I mean, I think another cool little undertone theme of this movie is pollution.
Yeah,
because oh my gosh, it was so gross.
And the guy talks about it and everything like that. I think that was a really good observation.
Because whenever we're in the ocean part of this or the sea part. You see such beautiful colors of the fish or his house or the boat, and it's really nice. And then you look at the ground, and you have fish being stuck in things and the mud, and it just
when he goes to do to some of his stuff, the magic guy, it's actually affected by it. So I like that.
That's why he was talking about later on with his well that it was going to reset everything and I don't know. Could be nice. Yeah. Come back as a jellyfish.
So as I said, the boy does go to save the fish in the jar and breaks it open. When he does, the ocean seems to almost attack him with a creepy face. He uses a rock to break the jar open, and the fish licks him on the wound, so he knows it's alive, which I thought was really funny that it had a little tongue. I'm like, what?
Wow. Also, if I'm bleeding and a fish licks my blood, I'm going to immediately think demons.
Demons. Right.
I'm going to throw that fish back in the sea.
The troll sent you.
I mean, first of all, it has a human face, so I don't even want it. I'm sorry. Could you think about an actual trout with a human face?
No.
That's not cute.
Nope. No, I don't like human
Especially
face.
Baby face. It's going to have baby face.
Right. Yeah, I'm not big on human baby face fish. Nope. The sea still tries to attack him, but he is able to make it back up the hill. The guy from the beginning is in the water and asks the water if it had found his daughter. It responds that she has been captured by a human. So
true.
Yeah, which is pretty much on par with what happened. The boy's mom is yelling to him to get in the car, and the guy from the beginning comes up spraying a machine that the mom thinks is weed killer.
A funny thing to me with this movie is how Sosuke handles a lot of the goldfish part.
Yeah.
Because when he first finds her, he picks her up and then tries to get her out of the jar. So he's slamming her against his hand and then trying to rip her up. He's gonna rip her apart.
Yeah, he's all squish, squish, squish.
Yeah. That's always funny to me.
Yeah. I really like that he said he's trying to keep it dry on land. Or from drying out on land. The guy, because he was spraying, because the mom's like, we don't do that around here.
Yeah, we kill it.
He's like, yeah, you can do whatever you want. Just don't be using weed killer. In the car, the mom calls the guy a freak show and says that the goldfish is pretty.
But I like that she was so adamant with the weed killer because weed killer is really bad for it washes.
Once again, environment.
Yeah.
He sees that his cut is gone from where she had kissed it. The fish licked it, yeah, and says he will name her Ponyo. They share fishy in the sea. They share a sandwich as they drive, while the father tracks them to the water. He's going through them, and then again, like you said, I liked as he got closer and closer to land, and inner land, it got more and more trashy. Yeah. Ponyo seems pretty enthralled by the sight as they drive to the mom's job. She's got this look on her face oh. Sasuke takes Ponyo with him, but leaves her under a bush hidden while he goes into the school. As Sasuke enters the classroom, he's greeted by some girls, but says he can't play because he has a job. So he then returns to Ponyo, who looks dead, but she's just sleeping. Kamiko comes out and sees Ponyo, but Ponyo gives her the stink face and spits in her face as well, soaking her dress. Which I love her face was all, and then she just turned around. She's like, I got no time for you. And then she just spits in her. So Sasuke takes off with Ponyo, forgiving her for what she did. He accidentally spills the bucket and thinks he killed Ponyo again, but he fills it quickly and all is good. Then this older lady, Yoshi, thinks she's going crazy when she hears Sasuke's voice, but he comes forth from the bushes and shows them Ponyo. He tells them that she is magic, and they ask if she can fix them, which I didn't know if it was going to happen or not. I was like, I wonder if that's going to happen later with her magic. Then another lady comes and says that the fish with the faces being taken out of the ocean causes tsunamis, and that he needs to take her back immediately. So Ponyo spits on her too, and Sasuke runs off with her. Which, fish with the faces. Sasuke is being yelled at by his mother to apologize, but he just hides out. Then, as he says that he will protect Ponyo, Ponyo starts to talk to him by saying his name and saying that she loves him. Which surprised me. I mean, I knew that she was going to do it, but I was like, oh, is that how this is going to happen? The dad shows up and sees this and sends the ocean to attack Sasuke against and takes Ponyo. He takes Ponyo into the ocean, and Sasuke tries to chase after, but his mom comes out and gets him. Which the whole time I had, like you said, you thought he was at least 8, and it says 5. So I'm like, man, this is just a 5-year-old doing all this. That's pretty crazy. We then see that she has been taken by her father back aboard the ship thing with the legs. Sasuke's mom takes him for ice cream at the store, and then she takes him home, but he's sick-faced about the whole situation. She's kind of a dangerous driver as well. She's biting the ice cream and everything like that, driving all over the place. I'm like, man, this lady is crazy. She says that his dad is coming home tonight as well. As they are getting home, Sasuke is really missing Ponyo, and he keeps looking to the ocean for her. He leaves the pail sitting so that Ponyo will know where they live. That night, the phone rings, and it is Sasuke's dad saying that he will not be home due to his job. The mom is not thrilled at all, but Sasuke keeps watch for his dad, signaling as he goes by in his boat. He signals back even though his mom is pretty mad. They signal back and forth, And she keeps saying "bug off,"
Yeah.
which I'm like, man, that's pretty good.
He did flashy lights, which was cool.
Yeah, yeah. She's like, oh, that's a pretty neat trick. But she's all bug off again and again and again.
Yeah.
After he's gone, the mom is pretty upset, but Sasuke consoles her. He thinks about Ponyo and hopes she is doing okay. Down in an underwater house, we see Ponyo talking to her father. He is talking about how he used to be human, but had to leave the earth. He asked if she tasted human blood. I guess she did while licking Sasuke's wound because she transforms into a human a little with chicken-looking hands and feet.
Yeah.
And I liked her
Ponyo
face got
wants legs,
round.
she grows them.
Yeah.
I was wondering if, because when the dad said that and I watched this for the first time, I was wondering if somehow the little boy was going to become fishy. Like, he was going to take over for the dad or something, and then he and Ponyo would be, like, the new king and queen of the sea.
Yeah. I thought something like that might happen too, because he kept, when he was talking about the door, or I'll fix this later. And if anybody ever comes in this room, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I wonder if he's going to end up down there and go in that room somehow. Yeah. And I thought the same thing. That's funny that you thought that.
I would have been okay with that ending, except for the fact, like, the mom probably would have had a really big problem with that.
Right. She's already alone as it is.
Yeah.
So the guy uses magic to transform her back into a fish. Like, he keeps squishing her down with his hands and everything like that. And I really just thought it was funny. Her hands and her feet, the way that they looked, all chickeny. That's what it looked like to me. He puts her back in this big bubble with the other little Ponyos, looking fish, and says he needs to ask her mother for help. He then takes a bottle of elixir with him downstairs and pours it into the magic well. And this magic well-looking thing is kind of glowy. He then says that he can feel the power of the ocean, and that when the well is full, it will bring an age of the ocean on. So, see, that kind of makes him evil to me.
Well, evil in the sense of he's trying to wipe out the things that are polluting the ocean.
Right.
So, and it was more of a, I mean, when it fills, you get all these kind of sea creatures back. I mean, ocean planet.
Right. Kind of what it was in the beginning, I guess.
And then, I mean, you can't stop volcanoes from happening. So, I mean, eventually you'd have a reset. It'd just reset the timeline. You'd have the things start going on the water, on land, fish grow legs, Ponyo. Yeah. And then, I mean, it would just restart life just without humans.
Without the pollution and everything.
Without the pollution and everything, yeah.
So the little Ponyo things all come out and bite on the bubble that Ponyo is trapped in and free her out of it and she once again grows hands and feet and even teeth. Now, did he call her like Matilda or something like that?
It's something Hilda. Hilda.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not that, I'm Ponyo.
Ponyo's real name. It is Brunhilde. I gotcha. Okay, I knew it was something like that, and they only said it really fast. And she's like, "I'm not that. I'm Ponyo." So she leaves and goes to find Sasuke. Oh, shoot, I think where this place is based off of is real.
Oh, probably.
Look, little...
Oh yeah, look at that. But when she goes to find him, she floods the house as she does. She ends up flooding the room with the well in it.
Crabs.
As well.
Crabs. There were so many crabs on the ground.
There were a lot of crabs. And then fully transforms into a human. With the magic, she has her and all her little Ponyos escape and seem to cause what looks like a tsunami.
Yeah, those are her sisters.
Yeah? Is that what it is?
I just don't know why Ponyo is so big.
Yeah. So I guess she's the oldest. And she's got more magic.
Yeah, that's true. Because all her sisters turn into trout.
Yeah, they do.
Or waves. They don't even
fish waves.
Yeah, fish waves.
The weather on land has crazy weather going on, and Sasuke walks from school to the center his mom works in. All of the elderly people look to be watching the weather, and his mom is told she can leave.
Me too. I'd watch the weather too.
Yeah, especially if it looked like that. Yeah. So, Sasuke goes to talk to the old ladies and gives them little fish replicas that he made. The news says that what is happening is a micro typhoon, so not good. Not good for a little island, I'll tell you that much. He gives the grumpy old lady a boat that she still seems
What was it, a
to be grumpy.
grasshopper?
Yeah. No, he's like this. She's like, wow. Sasuke's mom comes and gets him, and they return home even though the weather is crazy and the ocean is all puffed up, as he says. As they drive, one of the waves looks to turn into a fish. Sasuke's mom is told to turn around and take a different path, but she decides to drive through the water anyway and makes it, although the water still seems to be chasing them. And that water almost took them out. I mean, like several times. It was
She also drives like a maniac.
She drives like a maniac, yeah. But if everybody's telling you to turn around and take the mountain road, turn around and take the mountain road. You don't need to get home that bad. My gosh.
Well, they are on higher elevation.
Yeah.
So to be fair, it probably would be safer. And she had all the backup stuff.
I guess.
The water and the generator and
yeah.
So
yeah. Sasuke is looking at the ocean and sees Ponyo running on top of the water as they drive. She ends up falling back into the water and Sasuke sees it and tells his mom, so they stop and look, but they can't see her. Sasuke almost gets blown into the water, but his mom catches him and they make it home.
yeah,
Your mom really liked that part.
Yeah, it would have been a quick ending.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I actually was thinking that was the part where he was going to end up in the water. And then she would say when they would go down, when he was blowing down like that, I thought, oh, okay, this is where he's going to blow in the water. Then the mom caught him. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's not. Sasuke sees the bucket he kept Ponyo in is blowing into the water. And then Ponyo grabs it with chicken hands. Sasuke and his mom see Ponyo, and his mom goes to greet her. But when she sees Sasuke, Ponyo runs to him and jumps on him, turning even more human. Which I thought was cool that she actually faded into more human. Like she got more.
She does it a couple
defined.
times where she fades in and out.
Yeah, I know. Especially when they're going through that tunnel and she starts to fade. Yeah. I laugh so hard at that because her face gets all.
Yeah, it's froggy. It looks froggy.
Yeah, she gets. Yeah. Sasuke then recognizes her as Ponyo and tells his mom that she turned human and came back. As Ponyo exclaims that she found Sasuke, the other little Ponyos start to cheer and turn back into themselves, and the weather starts to clear. The weather. Not the water, just the weather. The mom grabs both of them and is crazy confused as she takes them inside, which I appreciate how she reacted to this situation, because I don't know that I would react the same if
I would take. I would take the little girl inside because obviously you have your mother instincts where here's a little girl. I don't want to leave her out in the water.
Right.
She's by herself. But the fact that it was Ponyo,
right,
messes me up a little bit.
Right.
I would have been like, fish girl.
Fish girl. The water is still crazy outside, and Sasuke's mom tries to dry off Ponyo, but she is already basically dry due to being a fish. So the mom makes tea or soup. I thought it was tea, but it turned out it was soup. While Ponyo says,
no, it's like milk and honey.
But it's soup because later when she gives it to the lady in the boat, it's soup. She says, oh, it's soup.
Is it the same thing?
I thought so. I thought it was tea, but it turns out to be soup later. And it said, oh, yeah, his mom made this special. Because remember, she puts the little driplets in it and everything like that, and Ponyo gets all big eyes.
It's honey drink.
Okay.
It's honey milk.
Okay. Well, then we'll go with that. But I know that she gives the people in the boat soup.
Yeah. Yeah, that's soup.
Okay.
But I don't think the same thing.
Okay. So some honey milk. Ponyo says she will use her feet instead of her hands to drink, which I thought was really funny with her little toes.
It was so weird. I
they were moving like fingers.
She was like grabbing his foot.
What I really dug about this is that all this stuff is going on, but like she's running around, she's got the light on her head, which she was all impressed with. She's running around the house, she runs into the glass because she doesn't really know. She, with the feet thing, just everything's all brand new to her. And I appreciate that. She's still got the whole ham situation going on because she wants that ham, man. But I just really appreciated the little attention to details that were going on with this character while the mom was making the drink and everything like that. So I just dug it. Ponyo says she wants ham, and the mom says that she will make dinner. Ponyo tells about her parents and how they are, like that her mom's really big and that her dad's kind of mean, and that her mom can be mean, but usually isn't, or that be scary. Maybe I think is what she said. When trying to start the generator, it is clogged, so Ponyo uses her magic to help it get started. They set up an antenna to be able to talk to Sasuke's dad, but seem unable to reach him. The mom gives the kids noodles to eat for dinner, as well as ham, which Ponyo downs when it's all kinds of hot. Like, she just burns her mouth.
Food animation always looks so good. It looks like delicious.
Had like a little egg and some little green things, and
which is always better than actual food.
Yeah, he's like, ready for the magic? Boom. Then Ponyo nods out asleep. So a
lot of has happened.
But it's just so funny to me how she just nods out, man. When she's ready to sleep, she's out. And they put her to bed on the couch. That night, the water calms as well, as it seems to be connected to Ponyo. They see a light at the senior center looking to need help, so Sasuke's mom goes to help, leaving Sasuke and Ponyo at the house. She drives off into the night via the mountain road while Sasuke sits with Ponyo. Out at sea, Sasuke's dad, who's the magician guy, his ship runs into Sasuke's dad is not the magician. I was going to say, what? Yeah.
I don't remember him doing any card tricks.
Yeah, runs into what they thought was a town, but it turns out that the moon is close, causing the water to rise and all the ships to gather. The engine then stops and a giant woman swims under the boat and the boat kicks up again. He says it was the goddess of mercy is what he calls her. And she goes and kind of fixes the issue with the water and the moon a bit, it looked like. Or at least she went to go deal with it because she swam that way. Ponyo's father comes to find Ponyo, but the little Ponyos come and interrupt him doing so. Like they sit there and eat at the water and everything like that. He turns and sees that the goddess is there, and she talks to him about the changes in the sea. He tells of what Ponyo has done, throwing the planet out of balance. She calms him and says that they should let her become human permanently should Sasuke really love her. They will test him, and if he does love her, then she will be human, but if not, she'll become sea foam. And again, I liked that reference because that is kind of like Little Mermaid-esque, because that's what happens with them, is that they become sea foam. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay. So you're kind of taking old story, old lore of what happens with things and integrating it. And I just liked that. And I thought that was pretty cool. So they wait to find the ocean basically at their door, which I was like, wow, things are really flooded. Sasuke says they need a boat, so Ponyo uses her magic to make a toy bigger. Sasuke and Ponyo, pack snacks and take the boat to find his mother. They talk about ancient fish that they see that are back for some reason, and I'm guessing that's because of the magic well.
Yeah, probably.
They see a boat that has a little family in it. Ponyo has a moment with the baby. She gives...
Gross. It was such a gross moment because she rubbed her face on his snotty face.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And she gives them a cup with some soup in it. And that whole conversation was kind of weird with the whole, I make the milk and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know.
It seems unnecessary, but I guess it's
they are 5-year-olds.
Right. I guess it's talking about humanity. So, whatever. While they share the soup, a group of people from the town all come by and check to see if they are all right and say that they are headed to a hotel. Ponyo gives them sandwiches that she ate the ham off of, and they give them a candle. When the child seems to be getting sick, Ponyo goes back and heals it. Because she's like, oh, you're getting a cold.
And they rub their face on it.
And the baby's all happy face gross. And everything. Sasuke and Ponyo head on to the senior center to find his mom. As they do, the candle goes out that they were using, and Sasuke asks Ponyo to make the one that the couple gave them bigger, but she seems to be nodding out asleep. She's unable to make it bigger and just falls out. So poor Sasuke gets into the water and pushes the boat manually with all the creepy fish around him. I don't know that I'd have been getting in the water with some of them fish. I'm like, you look like you might want to eat me.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know, maybe if you have the fish princess with you, they won't hurt.
Maybe. Eventually, he's able to walk and pushes the boat that way until they reach the land, and then the boat shrinks, but they reach land just in time. Ponyo wakes up. I like how he was pulling her through the water and her head was just dragging, basically. Yeah. I'm like, this poor kid's just trying to do the best he can. So yeah, Ponyo wakes and they see Sasuke's mom's car. Sasuke's mom is nowhere to be found, though, as he searches for her, and he starts to cry, which is acceptable.
Yeah.
Ponyo joins Sasuke and sees that he is crying, but says, let's go find your mom. And he's like, all right, cool. So she kind of calms him down. There's a magic bubble under the water where the old ladies are running around like children. Now, they were in water? It seemed like they were underwater, but still.
I imagine it's probably what was going on in the dude's house.
Yeah.
Because you remember you had the bubble inside of the house, but the house was still in water. Because he needs to keep wet.
But they could live.
So they could live. And there were a bubble on the window. So I think it's probably just magic water.
Yeah, that's how I took it too. Because at first I was like, okay, there's no water. But then they were like in the water. I was like, okay, this is kind of weird, but neat. I mean, I like the idea of it.
Yeah. Maybe just breathable water.
Yeah.
Have you ever had thick water? You could buy thick water. It's gross. It looks like you're just drinking jelly.
That's good. I'm good for that.
Yeah, right? I feel like that would feel like mucus.
Yeah. Sick.
Gross.
They're with Ponyo's dad, and they are going to play witness to something, is what he says. Sasuke's mom is with Ponyo's mom, and they are talking and have been for some time, according to the old ladies. So the old ladies call to her, and they talk with her about what is going to happen. Ponyo and Sasuke are walking, and Ponyo is really worn looking. They come to a cave, and Ponyo says she doesn't like it, but Sasuke holds her hand and says, we'll go through it. As they go through, Ponyo starts to fade even more and starts to turn back into a fish. And I really laughed really hard at this part because I was like, what is going on? Because she got all frog-faced and her head, she doesn't have a neck anymore, so her features become more rounded and everything, and her arms get all chickeny and everything, and it's just funny to me. Sasuke does manage to get her to water, but she won't wake and turns completely fish again. He puts her back into the bucket and yells to her not to die. Her dad shows up and says not to wake her. He says to come with him and not to fear, but then that crazy old lady shows up and says not to go with him, that he's a trickster. So Sasuke makes a choice, and he takes Ponyo in the bucket because Ponyo wakes up and spits water in her dad's face. And so they start running. The water's chasing him. Sasuke jumps for it and makes it to the old lady, but the water gets them and takes them all under the sea, which I thought was great that the fish just like right in her mouth, right in her face.
Yeah, because she lands on him.
Yeah, and I appreciate that the old lady, even though she was mean, was trying to
help him.
Helping. She was afraid, which, is fair.
I mean, she was right. Tsunami happened, so.
Yep. The little Ponyo fish things make a bubble around the old lady and Sasuke, and then take them down to where his mom is. Sasuke wakes in his mom's arms holding Ponyo, and then talks to Ponyo's mom. Ponyo's mom explains what happens with Ponyo and what he needs to do, and he says he loves all the Ponyos, which I thought it was great. Because all the Ponyos, no matter what. So Ponyo goes to see her mom, and she talks to her about being human and what she will need to do to be human, which is, basically giving up magic. She says okay, and her mom gives her back to Sasuke. Sasuke's mom says to kiss the bubble when they are back on land, and she will turn.
Ponyo's mom.
I'm sorry. Ponyo's mom says to kiss the bubble when they are back on land, and she will turn into a human forever. See, that's the little editing issues happen when you're really watching the movie and trying to type at the same time.
Yeah.
Then she says that balance is restored, and that they are returned to the surface. The old ladies are walking like they are young again, which I liked. And Ponyo's dad talks with them and says to take care of Ponyo. And then dips. It does not say anything to Ponyo. Sasuke's dad shows up and his mom goes to greet him, which I thought was cool, that he's finally home. Ponyo then jumps into the air and comes down onto Sasuke's face, kissing him, and then turning into a girl, and it kind of freeze frames on that, and then goes into the Ponyo, Ponyo, fishy of the sea song, and the credits roll. So, for me, other than the kind of just ending, which, to go through it again, I'm kind of like, okay, I get it, and hearing it's a softer movie and everything like that, it makes sense. Good movie. I would definitely recommend it to a friend. And for me, I gave it a 4.5. So
I gave it a 4.5 as well.
Yeah. For animated movies, I think is this the first animated movie we've done?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to do The Last Unicorn, and I refused to watch that.
Right. Refusal.
A refusal.
For the genre and for everything like that, definitely, I think a good starter point. If you've never seen it, I recommend it. I did actually ask a couple people that I know are listeners. I said, have you ever seen it? And they were like, no. I was like, cool. Then, because hopefully,
it's like we did like a reversal.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not an old movie, but it's an older movie, and I think that it's definitely relevant. I think that it holds its.
It's worth the watch.
This could have come out this year. This could have come out 10 years ago. This could have come out 20 years ago, and I think that it holds very well. A very, very well done movie. Very good story. So yeah. And I like the little Ponyo human fish face.
Yeah.
Which just made me laugh. The movie made me laugh. It just kept me entertained.
The first time I watched this was in 8th grade during math.
Really?
Yep. I watched it with a friend. My friend introduced it to me, and she was like, oh, you'll really like this movie. And we laughed a whole lot watching it the first time, because it was just, there's a lot to this movie where you're kind of like, if this happened really, no.
Right.
Like, there's no way that you'd just be so okay with like a little fish, an actual fish turning into a girl, and then wanting to adopt her.
Right.
Because your kid loves her.
Right. 5.
Yeah, you're 5.
Right. Yeah, but
People
then I
change.
like the whole chase scene when she was like running on the water and like all of that, and then like gets tossed back in, and then she's all shifting back and forth between kind of what she looks like versus whatever, and the little Panyos being
like
fish water and everything like. So do I. That's my favorite form, Ponyo. Although I wouldn't want that living in my house.
No. Who was your favorite character?
Ponyo. I know it's probably supposed to be Ponyo, with the mom being a very close second.
The mom, her mom, or Sasuke's mom?
Sasuke's. Yeah. Sorry,
I like his mom. Yeah, that was my favorite character.
Yeah, because
she just handles everything so well, and her character is so real.
Yeah,
like except for the fact that how you'd actually react to like a fish girl,
right? But
like everything else she's doing, taking care of him, working at the center, needing to go help out at work.
You're right.
Wondering if she should stay longer, if they should just stay. I mean, her being angry with the dad for not coming home. I mean,
right. It's a very real character.
Yeah.
And for being a side character, she is, for being a side character, she's very well developed.
Yeah.
I definitely dig the mom. Like I said, it's secondary to Ponyo for me. Very close.
Least favorite character.
Maybe Ponyo's mom, and I only say that just because she kind of shows up and everything will be okay and everything like that. But not the dad. I thought the dad was funny.
I like the dad. Yeah. Mine was actually Ponyo, because I liked Ponyo a lot the first time around, and the second time, I think the more you watch it, the more you realize that she kind of just does whatever she wants. Yeah, and she messes up. Like, if you think about it, she could have ruined like a lot of horrible things with actually the whole world with that well. Yeah, but she just lets all the fish into it. We had no idea what was going to happen there, so she could have just ruined that. She ruins his house. I mean, things go everywhere. The elixirs go everywhere.
Yeah.
And, she frees all her sisters. Who knows? Maybe they were piranhas. She goes and she like wrecks out this other like her like Sosuke and his mom. I mean, she just goes up and I mean, she's wrecked out the whole town. I mean, we only know that the old lady survived the flood thing. A lot of people could have drowned.
Yeah. And probably did, because they do show the town all covered with water.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of destruction. Everybody might seem happy that they're in the town boats and all that, but yeah, that's true. She's very self-serving.
Yes, but I mean, again, she's 5 and a fish,
right?
So she wouldn't have known. But out of everyone else, that was kind of my.
I got you. That's an interesting take on it. I like that. I like when you kind of go against the grain.
What was your favorite scene?
Them going through the tunnel and her converting back into a fish.
Yeah, mine was anytime she looked like the frog.
Yes. When she starts going back and turning into...
Because she walks like a waddle.
She has a waddle to her.
Yeah.
That, and then close second scene of favorite is when she's initially turning, when she's like, eyes, sprouted legs.
Yeah,
and they
like
first
that.
come in, and he's like squishing her back down into a fish.
Yes.
That, because her face is all, and that really makes me laugh. I really dug that.
I also enjoyed that part.
So, is that your favorite?
No, my favorite part was anytime she looked like the frog.
Like the frog. I'm sorry, I missed that. You said that, and I missed it. We don't really do least favorite, do we?
We did least favorite.
I
said that was my Ponyo. You said the mom.
No, least favorite scene.
Oh, least favorite scene? No, we do not do that.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I don't really have one.
Can't think of anything.
Maybe the scenes with the dad, because he was kind of just out there. But...
The out to sea dad?
Yeah. I don't
He's
know.
just trying to live.
He's just living, so I don't have any qualms with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it for me.
You got anything else? You want some trivia?
Yeah, go on.
All right, so I'm probably going to butcher this name. Hayao Miyazaki.
Let me see.
Hayao Miyazaki.
Miyazaki's probably right.
Drew most of the sea and wave imagery himself. Experimenting with making it as expressionistic as possible. Dude named John Lasseter said that he had never seen water animated so beautifully before. So to do something like that by hand is just friggin' nuts to me. The opening 12 seconds involving vast schools of fish and undersea creatures requires 1,613 pages of conceptual sketches to develop. So, and I'm really hitting on the arty part of this.
I love it.
This is the first animated feature film since Princess Mononoke. Is it Mononoke or Mononoke? Do you know?
No.
All right. I think it's Mononoke. To be created and painted on traditional animated cells. So just the fact that we've gotten so far away from that now.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how Disney started.
Yeah.
But I like this animation more. I like when movies look like this.
Yeah.
I think it, because it's more work.
Yeah,
It's
and you know what they did
harder.
do.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not
page by page. I'm not dogging.
Yeah,
on,
I'm not discounting computer animation.
Yeah, that's also. I mean, that's also really hard.
Right.
But I like the feeling of honest work, and especially as an artist, if you go through and you make something that takes that long and to have it blow up like this did.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be you. I feel like that would just mean more.
I think knowing now, like with your art, with how you've grown so far from where you were to what, and you explaining to me what it takes to do that, like the level of what you do, like, you know, what I'm talking about with like the background, the foreground, how you have so many different levels of what you do to make, like, even to make ourselves for our episodes. You know, you put so much hard work into that, and I'm thinking, man, you put that much work into what would be considered one frame.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now do that 1,600 times, and that's
more than that.
12. No, I'm just saying, and that's 12 seconds. 1,600 times.
12 seconds.
Is 12 seconds of video.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's years. You know, days, months, years worth of drawing, literally almost the same exact thing with just a little bit of motion in it. to make the ground underneath somebody's feet wet, show that it's soaking up water, to make a fish's eye a fish eye, to make them turn into the water blinking. I mean, it's crazy. And then that takes it back to what you're talking about. Yeah, it is a lot easier with the O mouth. Oh, unicorn, and their mouth is all big and round. I understand why they do it, because heck, if I can just make something talk with a round mouth and get the point across versus having to sit there and animate somebody's mouth actually making words and having teeth and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to do what's easier if I can still make the same level of profit and everything like that, I guess. So it's just impressive to me. And this was the first animated film to be nominated for and win the Best Film Score prize at the Japanese Academy Awards, which I thought was pretty cool.
And deserved,
Very, very, very deserved. A good pick, a very good pick. Thank you very much for this one this week. It really did. It was a pleasure watching the movie and seeing it, and just really getting exposed to something new and it being quality. So I'll have to do Into the Spider-Verse so that we can do that one eventually. So, because the animation on that one is I
could just talk forever about that movie as well.
I know, right? We'll have to do a part A, part B for that one. So, our banter and then just me reading. So, got anything else?
No, that's all from me.
All right, we're going to wrap this one up. I'd like to thank everyone for stopping by and listening to our 47th episode. We do definitely appreciate it, more than you could imagine. Of course, the best way to say that you love us, give us that 5-star review on iTunes. We haven't gotten a recent review. We were getting reviews, as in, like stars.
Yeah.
I think we're up to almost 400, which is a lot, in my opinion. But as for reviews, we haven't had one since the ferret comment. So leave one of those for us. Let us know how we're doing. You can always email us at theyesteryearpodcast@gmail.com. Twitter is twitter.com/yesteryearpcast. Instagram is instagram.com/yesteryearpodcast. Facebook is facebook.com/yesteryearpodcast. Our private group is the Truffle Shufflers. Our secret question is the host names, James and Beth. We, of course, have our website, theyesteryearpodcast.com. Check out our store. We have all our stuff for our affiliates. We have where you can get merch for our show. I just got some soap from one of our affiliates, and I'm really looking forward to it. It comes with even with a little bag, like a soap on a rope. You put the soap in the bag, and then that way you can just wet it and scrub it around inside, and it suds right outside of it. So I'm really excited about that.
That's cool.
I get excited over simple stuff, man. Patreon is patreon.com/the nostalgia group. Shout out to Greg Revan for our intro and outro. And as always, see you. Good night, Beth.
Good night, everyone.